everybody, and welcome back to the Positively Awesome Wrestling Podcast. We got Tidy back in this joint. He wanted to be a part of the big number 10 episodes, so we held it off from last week. We're doing it this week. Good to have you back, Tidy. How you been, bud?
Oh, I'm good, man. I'm working a lot. So
I ain't working tonight.
No, not this Sunday. I'm good, man. I wanna do the 1-0.
If you ever need me to call you work and let them know you need off, just let me know. I'll take care of it for you.
Oh, damn.
So we got handsome boy Drew. He thinks, and he says Tidy. He's a big Tidy fan. So there you go. You got to say hi. Now, kick rocks, handsome boy Drew. I was thought Shibata's safe return of the ring into Orange Cassidy being handpicked by the legend himself. Everyone WWE makes it home safe and sound. I'm sorry. Boom. Loving the progression of Austin Theory. Good stuff. Keep that up. Ospreay with another match of the year contender. Gunther for still being Walter and breaking into my year in top 10. Booyah. So, I'm glad he brought up the possible Ricky Starks Ethan Page finale. We can talk about that for a minute. But we also are joined by the captain who was with me last week as we went over. We had a different kind of show. We did Book It, Baby, because that's what we enjoy doing more than anything. So we just booked some stuff. Hope y'all enjoyed. Not today. We are going to be talking about, one, the usual, our favorite moments from the week. And then two, we will be going over who we think is going to be atop the promotions, who's going to be our big main eventers, who's going to be our main mid-carders, and who's going to be atop the women's division in the next 5 years for both WWE and for AEW. Since Tidy isn't an AEW guy, we're going to give him an extra slot for WWE so that he gets to participate just a little bit more. I'll bend the rules for Tidy. Nobody else, though.
Yeah.
Me to the best evening, gentlemen. Good evening to you as well, David. So with that said, we're going to go ahead. I'm going to let Tidy go first since he wasn't here last week. Go ahead and let us know what it is. Oh, before we go, has this man got a haircut yet? I'm curious.
I didn't see him.
Because, man, that helmet hair is killing me. It's killing me. All jokes aside, though, I'm going to let you go ahead. Look. Your favorite part of the week, go ahead, take the reins and let them know what it is and what it is about it you love so much.
Bianca and Bayley at Crown Jewel. Why? Because Bayley finally had like a lengthy good match to show what she can do again, because I feel like she came back, she hasn't had, like a killer match or something great. But that stuff right there, exactly, pulling her into the stairs, the way they set up the props is I watched it again, and when she's going outside to grab the ladder, Bianca comes in, she pulls her head down, and then Bianca moves the stairs. I'm like, why is she moving the stairs over there? But like everything just went so well.
The whack-a-mole stuff was hilarious. It really was.
It was funny, but like it's last woman standing, so you can't answer the 10 count. So there has to be some physicality to it. So I like the rough physicality they had. Whether they're throwing their heads into chairs, but parts that really got me that I really liked was when Bayley came out with that cart and pushed the cart on top of the ramp, Bianca into it, and then Bayley holds the actual cart down so she can't open like the chest, whatever it is, and then she flings it open. Bayley takes the flop so hard, hits her in the face, she goes flying backwards. And then she comes out in a damn golf cart after that, and Bianca just sees it coming a mile away.
Yeah.
And then Bianca does like this little shimmy. It acts like she has to dodge it real quick. It was comedy, but yet it was harsh. I mean, because she was gonna KOD her on the stair, on top of the stage, and I was kind of scared. She got the belly to Bayley on the stage. The suplex in the beginning on the ramp itself. These girls were hitting hard, so I was happy about that because it was just physical enough. And like even Bayley falling and tripping on the ramp and acting like she's injured, I'm like, oh man, is she really injured? She was really selling that. And then she gets up, she hits Bianca, set up the table. But of course, the part where she comes down in the golf cart, Bianca's driving the golf cart down, and I think before they got there, the ref was like trying to hold up the roof, like, hey, because it was falling apart. Like, I don't think that's supposed to support like human weight. But
no, they aren't.
No, dude.
If you've watched Jackass, then you know golf carts are not meant to support much.
If you've partaken in any of the Jackass stunts, you know that they don't support people.
You know, and you talk about like the bad endings of the night, which I've seen, heard a lot of things about that. I actually like the ending, even though my favorite Bailey didn't win. Because like she KODs her and she tries to grab the chair and it still hits like her leg, her inner leg, probably her knee as she came down. So I'm like, ooh, that looked like that hurt, but then puts her into the ladder that she brought there in the first place that she was setting up. And when Bailey's getting out, you can see that frustrated look on her face when the ref counts to 10. I think Bailey proved herself that she can put on a great match, even with all these props, and it was super physical. So I don't care what anybody says. It's a damn good match. I was happy.
I enjoyed it second most of all the matches.
Would you say the one they had on Raw, the last Raw match they had, was their best?
No, I like how this went out.
But Captain, he said this was their second. So what would their first? What would you say their first one was?
No, I'm saying since Bailey's came back, this was their third. They had Extreme Rules.
I think this is like their fourth match because they've had two on
Raw.
They've had two on Raw, the ladder match, and then this match.
I think Kappa was saying there was another match that night that he enjoyed, and that was the second.
Oh, okay, it was my second favorite of the night.
Okay, I got you. So I think it was their second best match they've had.
I'm in agreement with Tidy in that I wanted to see Bailey go over for the pure idea of, it seemed like because at Extreme Rules, Bianca went over Damage Control, just annihilated the group, and then
Super Belair.
The way the whole hokey ladder under the ropes, and God bless Bailey for selling it as well as she did. But
it looked like she was really stuck under there too. Like she had to come out of it. So I was.
She sold it well. That. I don't. At this point, I'm wondering what do you do now with Bailey and Bianca? How do you get Bailey back in that?
You go to War Games and have it be Team Bianca versus Team Bailey.
It's not done. It's not done, son.
Not done.
I hope it's not. I'm just curious how they get to it.
Well, technically, Bailey hasn't lost. She got caught in some crazy contraption. And she can literally play the thing like, you still have not beat me. She says, I pinned you. Because Bailey's pinned Bianca. Bianca hasn't pinned Bailey. She climbed a ladder, and then she got her trapped in a ladder. She technically just has not beat Bailey yet. So
she got her hand raised, so that's...
But that's
where I'm...
that's not the same. Because Bailey...
50-50.
I think I like it when they get creative with the finishes. And... they got a little bit. Hey, I'm gonna let y'all. I'm gonna step out. Y'all talk real quick. So I'll be right back. Sorry.
So, anyways, Captain, I think that I wanted Bailey to win too. I really did because I think it's about time. I mean, she's been back for how many months and teasing like she's better.
She's been back since SummerSlam. I mean, it's
like what 4 months? I can't count.
That was the end of July, so August, September, October, so 4 months, roughly in there.
With that, I mean, we talked earlier on this about Bianca's reign starting to feel a little, starting to decline, the entertainment of her because she hasn't had a lot of people to fight, So I thought, her fighting Bailey and maybe they'll switch the titles up, make it interesting. But again, I don't think Bailey's had like this killer match from a fan's perspective of like, this is why she was who she was back then and she can prove it again. So for me, for her to lose in this way when she was doing such a damn good job tonight makes the Bailey fans like me, see her face of disappointment when she's getting out of the ladder and she's like that pouty face as the ref counted to 10. I mean, because I felt that as a fan. So it was effective that. So I kind of quickly got over the fact that she didn't win because I know they'll fight again. Now the Bobby match.
Well, before we get to Mr. Lashley, with Bianca, I don't know if her reign is going stale so much as she, like the character, as I was saying earlier today, Bianca's in-ring work is second to none in the women's division. I've never watched a Bianca match and thought that was awful. I love her in-ring work. Her gimmick and her promos are like ice picks in my eardrums, and the whole hair twirling thing, I'm just like, So it's like, well, and someone else made the point, she's becoming the female John Cena, which I always loved. And I can see that because I always loved John Cena's matches, hated the gimmick. Love Bianca's matches, hate the gimmick.
John Cena burns people on the mic, though. Like, he's pretty ruthless, except for the Miz. Miz got him good with that one, but
nah, John Cena kill him.
John Cena was a clown as a gimmick who had phenomenal in-ring matches.
Fuck. All right, hold up. Can y'all see me? Can y'all hear me? Am I good?
Yeah, I hear you.
You're a little draggy, but
that should be fixed in a minute. So I'm gonna swing it over to Capitan. Go ahead and let them know what you thought was the top moment of the week for yourself.
The moment that I enjoyed the most was Roman's walk up the ramp this week and him talking.
I don't have a graphic of that, so I'm just going to give you this super badass look right there to go with your chat, because I thought this was a very cool image. But go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I said Bianca and Bayley was my second favorite match of the night. This was my favorite, even though I'm in agreement with Nick that Roman may have put Logan over a little too much, but I still enjoyed the match. The finish was absolute god awful, but the match itself I enjoyed. But yeah, Roman's walk up the aisle and getting in the camera's face. I always like it when that's done appropriately.
That's what's up. Yes, absolutely, Michael, for sure. Sorry.
But it was, I like it when Roman lets Heyman talk for the most part, but I do like those moments when Roman does cut a promo like that, just straight to the camera. This is coming from a guy who despised Roman Reigns for pretty much his entire run until he turned heel, which is what he should have been doing from the outset. But I really like the fact that he is asserting himself more and more and more as this reign continues to go on, and I'm loving it because he is demolishing every single person that they put in front of him. And I saw a really interesting tweet on Twitter. Don't want to get tongue-tied there. An interesting tweet on Twitter today, wondering, exactly who's going to break the streak. And I responded that it's like, whenever they broke Taker's streak, they're going to catch hell regardless of who does it, how it goes down, and when it goes down. It just matters, does it actually work logically? And we're still debating at this point if Brock was the right guy. We'll be debating whenever Roman gets beat. Was it the right guy at the right time?
I'll give you three things to touch on with what you were just talking about. One, I already forgot what it was. Two, Brock was definitely the right person to beat Undertaker. And I've stated this before. When Brock beat Undertaker, it automatically put Brock on just a completely different level. So now Brock is perceived as this final boss kind of guy, so that when Drew beat him, it was a big deal. When Seth beat him,
it made sense. I mean, Brock was not illogical. It made sense on certain. I would have preferred to it have been Roman or Bray, but Brock made sense. I got it at the time what they were doing, so I'm not pissy about it. But
I'll say this: I get a lot of shit for saying this because everyone just calls it a fanboy pick. But I dare anybody to go back and watch this match, watch that crowd, and tell me that they were not ready to watch CM Punk beat Undertaker at WrestleMania and beat a streak. I dare people to watch it back and tell me that that's not what those fans were waiting for. We can
You're digging into my Punk love here, but Punk wasn't the guy.
Go back and watch the match. You don't even got to watch the match.
I've watched it many times.
Watch the second half. That crowd was waiting for it. They were like, "This is our guy. He's going to do it." And you know what? I'll go as far as saying Punk would have never left WWE if he beat Undertaker. I bet money on it.
I'll give you 50-50 on the first half of that take, and that I wouldn't have been upset if it was Punk, but Punk was going because he wasn't putting up with all the hoo-ha.
The biggest problem he had was that he had to keep putting over all these part-timers. If they were going to give him something like Undertaker, that would have eased the pain 100%. 100%. He might have taken a break when his contract was up, but he would have definitely come back. What was
I would like to. That might be a good topic for later. I would like to discuss that. I can see your argument there, but I think
it's not a homer pick at all. I know people are going to say it is. It's not, because
I think Punk was leaving regardless.
I didn't think this until I watched the last Undertaker match. The last time I watched the Undertaker Punk match, that's when I realized what it was. And hearing all of CM Punk's gripes, that would have been a nice little Band-Aid to put over things. Look at that. Me and Nick are just on the same page today. 100%. That's crazy. 2, the Roman interview, the Roman promos. Roman's promos when he's not holding the mic and he's just yelling at the camera is the best work he does. It's so fucking good what he does with it. I love it so much. That one time it was the contract sign with him and Brock, and he just got up and started saying, "That's mine. That's mine."
That camera's mine.
It was so good. And like you were saying, when he was leaving Crown Jewel and he was walking up the ramp, it was so good. He's done it a few times, and I can't think of a single time where I saw it when I was like, dude, stop.
And that's why Heyman is the perfect guy to pair with him, because Heyman can sell ice to an Eskimo. He can orate what our tribal chief is wanting to get across. But when Roman, has those quick little few seconds to stare into the camera and say his piece, that's perfect. That's just enough. Let Heyman do the rest of it. Let Heyman do the official talking, but Roman, you get in that camera for your 15, 20, 30 seconds and do that.
Okay, when you put it that way, you just did about Brock being the right guy to end Undertaker's undefeated WrestleMania streak as the final boss. It makes sense, especially given his dominant run. I try to make sense of things. I really do. I'm not just patting my own back and toot my own horn. I really do.
It made enough sense.
I think I do.
I would have rather seen Bray, but it made enough sense with Brock. I'm not.
I think I come with logical explanations with my things. I'm not just being a homer. And for anybody that wants to doubt it, here's
I hate Brock Lesnar. That's what he's saying.
And he's saying that it's not a homer angle. He says I'm bringing enough points. My arch rival is agreeing with me on this, so it makes me feel a lot better about it. And then Brock's second run with the WWE has been way more dominant than his first one. I enjoy his second run way more than his first run because he's treated as the kind of guy he should be treated as. And I think it's great. But with that, we will now move on to my favorite part of the week. And boy, oh boy, this is probably where people are going to turn on me. But I don't. Yeah.
If they haven't already, El Americano.
IDGAF, baby. Oh, that's not it. This match at Crown Jewel. Forget the build. The build was this. I don't care. And I'm not here to tell you that Braun is a favorite wrestler of mine or that Omos is a favorite wrestler of mine, even though I'm higher on Omos than most people are. That match at Crown Jewel was everything it should have been. And I love it because I don't see enough of it. It's given me something that, again, less is more. So when I get to see something that cool, because Omos played his role to perfection in that match. He showed some character and charisma for the first time maybe ever. I liked him talking shit to the crowd, to the camera, to Braun as he was dominating him. Seeing Braun get dominated was very weird. And as Nick just pointed out here, and this is what I called it earlier, it was a spectacle. He'll give that to me. And I like spectacles. Especially, again, when I don't see him a lot. I see a lot of this other technical masterpiece stuff. I see stuff with Roman Reigns telling fantastic stories in the ring. I see that all the time. So when I see something different and it's done well, I'm sold, and I love it. Does that mean I want to see Omos get pushed to the top? Nope. This is the perfect way to use Omos, what they did with this storyline and how he wrestled that match. He should just be around every once in a while, like the Big Show. Use him like the Big Show at the tail end of his career. Bring him in. You're like, oh, there's no way this guy can beat Omos. Have Omos just toy with him, beat him down, and then he loses, and that person goes over. All done. That's
how old is Omos?
What's that?
How old is Omos?
He's only 24 or something like that.
And you're wanting them to use him like a 44-year-old man.
Until he gets the whole package figured out, absolutely. Because you don't want to keep putting him out there in these positions where he's going to look stupid and silly like they were doing. Having him come out and do squash matches where he's beating 3 or 4 jobbers at a time. That's not doing anything for him.
Agreed there.
Yeah, the Braun Strowman match.
I agree with you there.
The Braun Strowman match, he looked legit. He looked like someone I could be like, okay, I see what they could do with him.
What would you say to... He's 28. Okay. Ooh. I'm going to throw one at you, Jimmy, because I've been thinking about this. Depending on whether they do Brock Lashley 3 at Rumble or Main, let's say they do Brock Lashley 3 at Rumble, just throwing that out there. What would you think about an Omos Brock match?
No. Absolutely not. Omos doesn't have Braun has to have a dance partner that is capable in the ring. If he doesn't, it does it. And this isn't a knock on Dean Ambrose, but his style just doesn't mesh well with Brock Lesnar, and we saw what happened between those two. It was horrible. The Braun matches were nothing great. Brock works well with guys who he's smaller than, and obviously the Bobby Lashley matches are proof too, because both of those matches have been duds. When the guy is smaller and Brock can be the bully, his matches are just. But when he's on level playing ground, it just doesn't work. The only one I can think
of. It's not level because Omos is bigger than he is.
Playing from behind, I don't think it works either because I just don't think it works. I don't think Brock Lesnar sees money in that match, so he's not going to put forth effort. Got
Fair
Omos
enough.
Braun was definitely a good solid match. Gave me a lot of Hulk versus Andre vibes, and I will say that Nick mentioned that they were going the Hulk Andre formula in this match, and I totally saw it. They kind of were. It obviously is not Hulk Andre. But I do get what they were saying there. Always Omos if he is a draw, even though he isn't. And hey, he's a draw to that Saudi crowd, 100%. All you have to do is look at the YouTube views, and people can argue with me all day they want. WWE is a very analytical company. They look at all the analytics, and when they see that Omos is getting 2.5 million views for his segments, they know, hey, there's a fan base that wants to see this man, and they're going to put him in the positions of those fans for them to see him and enjoy him. So,
okay, one more quick question to that note. If not Brock, who could put Omos over clean and it give Omos that boost to leave, the jobber squash matches?
I'll say this. I think Braun should be booked like a monster until Mania, and I think you do a rematch at Mania where Omos goes over. Kind of a comeback, and he's better now, and he beats Braun, and I think that's what you do with him. Because I don't think he's ready to have matches with other people and then be like good enough. I'm smart enough to look at Omos and say, as high as I am on him, he can't go in there and have a match with someone like Baron Corbin, and it's going to be something that I'm like, yeah. I don't see it. He's got very limited matches right now. So what I saw with Braun, I loved. Run it back at Mania. Let Braun get some more wins under him. Let Omos come back and redeem himself. That's the story. It's very simple. And he'll have MVP in his corner this time. So that
Mania just seems like a long way off to finish that angle.
But still,
it's 6 months away.
You could just have Braun do what Braun does and just have Omos on TV very periodically. But with that, Tidy, I'm curious what you thought about this Omos Braun match. I'm very curious. So let's see what you got to say.
I watched it, and I had to come back later and do it, so I wasn't on the watch along. Sometimes it's honestly hard to watch the show if I'm on watch along because I need to hear the commentators and all that stuff. I need to really, and there's a reason why they're there. But I was also with my roommate and another friend. We were watching it, and it was over so quick. It just my favorite moment is when Braun couldn't get Omos over that rope, and then he did it again, and man, he slung his ass over that. I mean, that was like we all went, "Oh shit!" because it was so quick and powerful. But
I will say,
because I was there.
Sorry, the one part of this match I did have a problem with is that Braun Strowman is a little B word, and he didn't powerbomb Omos like he should have. That would have set this match into match of the year for me had he powerbombed Omos. That's what I've been wanting to see. I thought it would have been the greatest thing we've ever seen, and it didn't happen. So shame on you, Braun Strowman. Shame on you. Tidy, I'm sorry to interrupt. You can have the.
Have you and Tony Khan been hanging out and
not at all
sampling the same types of chemicals?
I love spectacles. I love them. That's part of the reason I love wrestling. I love that shit. And that would have been a spectacle to watch Omos get power bombed. Dude, that would have been an insane sight to see. You know damn well that would have been crazy.
See, I feel Jimmy on that because I felt the same way about Bailey and Bianca because there was just so many objects they used and they hit each other really hard. I wanted something a little different, and I can see what he means by it's something different. And that's a spectacle. It's entertaining to him. So what I was gonna say was I like the match. The problem was it was over so quick, and my roommate was just talking like, "I can't believe that shit's over so quick." So it's like I know I was watching it. So was it like a 4-minute match or something? Because it was over very quickly.
It was the perfect time for that match. I'll say that shouldn't be getting anything.
They didn't go too long. You're right, Jimmy.
I liked it enough. I mean, like when he picked him up,
the match was booked as it should have been. I cannot argue with that.
And Omos, I think Omos playing to the crowd and to the camera is what really put it over for me. I know it's a very small thing, but he did it. He did the one thing that he should have been doing this whole time as a monster. And it's like, yo, what clicked in his head for this match of all matches, him to just start finally getting those
Even
things.
Frankenstein yelled at a few villagers once in a while.
But if he progresses from this, awesome. If he doesn't, I shame on him. I hope he does, because I like big men in here, and I like big men that work like he did. I think it's fun and it's different than everything else we have.
Sorry we interrupted you, Tidy. I had to.
Yeah.
I hate to agree with Jimmy when I have to, but I do.
I don't have much more to say than I was happy to again like seeing Brock and Bobby fighting, seeing two big people like go to town, like someone's gonna get hurt or they're gonna do something crazy. He actually did his running power slam on him.
Yeah. That was still impressive how he did it too.
Because he went backwards after he picked him up.
It looked like he was about to lose it.
That's got to hurt the back, but then he repositioned it. So I saw him grab his back at the end. So
Braun's a freak.
Yeah, he is. So I'm overall happy enough with the match. I just wish it was a little bit longer, but you have your point. Maybe it should be shorter.
Yeah.
Because I just wanted to see Omos do just a little more technical stuff in the ring.
You'll never see Omos do technical stuff in the ring.
Well, you know, my verbiage is stupid.
I know, man. I gotta call you out on this stuff, though. I gotta.
Yeah. You want to see him work do a little more than show.
I wanted to see a tiny bit more work so that I can be like, okay, then he's actually somebody now. But then again, he is that guy that's so big. It's always you can't beat him.
Yeah.
So you got to play it smart, like you said, until WrestleMania.
Here you go. The match time was 7:19, which is crazy. I did not think it was that long.
No.
That just tells me the match was even more fun because it went by so quick. That's my take. I really think the match was fun. I'm not bullshitting people. I know people think I'm trolling. I'm not. I really enjoyed the match. I thought it was fun. It was a spectacle. I enjoyed it. And it was not hard to stand out on this card, in my opinion, because I don't think this card was anything special to begin with.
You could have easily scrapped 2 to 3 matches, depending on which ones.
I think if this show never happened, it wouldn't have bothered me. That's how I feel about this show as a whole. I think it was the I don't mean to be a Debbie Downer. I just think it was probably the worst PLE pay-per-view, whatever we're going to call it, that WWE's put out all year.
It was what it was. It was take the money and run.
As Nick says, Omos can't take a power. Sorry, Ty. I keep seeing this and I'm like, stop it. Nick said he can't take a power bomb because Nick have very little faith. Very, very little faith. Obviously.
Well, you don't want it to be a Kevin Nash, Paul White power bomb where he doesn't take it right and something bad happens. You'd rather him not take it as take it poorly.
And Nick brought this up, and I'll say this: Braun Strowman is a different kind of monster than Kevin Nash.
Yeah, Kevin Nash had far better timing.
And he wasn't a physical specimen either. He was just a tall guy with long, beautiful hair. Braun Strowman is a kind of guy that would scare the shit out of me if I ran into him in an alleyway. Like, straight. He is a freak of nature. Filler pay-per-view. You damn right, babe. That's exactly what it was.
I'll give that one to you, Amanda. Yeah.
It's for the crowd over there to enjoy. I'll take – yeah. And she's basically echoing what I say all the time. I have no issue with the crowd getting these shows. I think it's awesome that they get the shows. I understand all the shit that people talk about these things. But at the end of the day, those are fans over there that are watching these shows, and they're just like you and me. They want to watch wrestling. So, and you can tell they enjoy it because they're some of the best crowds we see for the WWE.
Thank you, Nick. Thank you for acknowledging that.
It was the worst of the Paul era. It 100%. I'm not going to disagree with that at all. It was a show that happened. That's about
I'm grading it on a curve. It was a savvy show.
Yeah. I graded a 4.
Survivor Series, I think, and I've been saying this for the last 24 hours, he's going to be 4 months into his tenure. And Paul knows, like most people do, it's not necessarily the Royal Rumble that starts Mania season. It's Survivor Series, because Survivor Series is where you wrap up loose ends, start new ones, Rumble's the middle ground, and then Mania is the payoff. We've been building to Survivor Series for a while now.
And I think
I think Survivor Series is going to be the pay-per-view of the year in 2022. I really do. I think
that's some big shoes to fill right there.
I really think this is going to be where we're going to say, you know what, either Hunter really gets this or there's still some work to be done, but I'm more on the side of liking him because he's had one bad show PLE wise since he took over, and we've been building to this. And I think Survivor Series, Hunter is going to let her rip. And because we don't have that December pay-per-view or day one, it's Survivor Series and then Rumble last week of January. So I think he is going to let it rip.
Because of that long thing, I think Royal Rumble is going to be a phenomenal show. I think
I'll be there. Maddie will be there.
Yeah, I'll be there. My babe, Amanda will be there. I think it's going to set the tone for the year. You're going to have some very big shoes to fill with Royal Rumble. With the time they have to set things up and get stories going, I think Royal Rumble is going to kill it. But here we go. The ladies' outfits are always so cool, and I agree with this one.
Yeah, they are.
I think I've seen some of those outfits they're wearing. I'm like, yo, why don't they wear these all the time? They just look so much cooler.
Whereabouts are you sitting at Rumble?
I can't remember. I know I have a shot at the entrance is over here.
Yeah, it's the long SummerSlam type.
Yeah, so I'm on basically the other side so that I'll be looking at the entrance ramp. I wanted to make sure I could see the entrance ramp. Okay. So, and the progression. The progression is also a big thing I always talk about with the Crown Jewel. They're clearly doing things with the ladies that we never thought we were going to see, and that's a very
they're doing it well.
Yes, which a very cool thing that they do there. So with that, good nod there. Thank you for bringing that up because I was going to forget about it, babe. Cody is coming to the Royal Rumble. Woo! So before we go into the next segment, at the Royal Rumble, I'm hoping to get 2 returns. One, Cody Rhodes, which will be awesome because I got to see his return last year, and now I get to see it again this year. And then number 2, Becky freaking Lynch. Please hold Becky Lynch off until the Royal Rumble. Please, Hunter. I know you're watching, buddy. Please
we need to get me, Maddie, Devin, and yourself together pre-Rumble dinner.
Hear me. I don't care where you're sitting. You're going to hear me screeching like a little girl. If Becky Lynch comes back at the Royal Rumble, you will hear me.
Not screeching above me. I love me some Becky. She's the best female wrestler, in my opinion, since Moolah.
Bro, I love Becky Lynch. This ain't a fucking game to me.
I love Becky more than you.
You see this? You see
my Charlotte Flair.
The poofy shirt. You see, I'm making custom Funkos of Becky's that one. Yeah, see, he'll probably cry. She ain't even joking. I'm gonna be so excited for it. Likely, yep.
I'll send you some tissue. I'll send an usher over with some tissues.
But with I won't get too far into the Cody thing. We can talk about that another time with Royal Rumble coming up. We'll have plenty of time.
Oh yeah,
to talk about Royal Rumble. For now, that's the part of the show where we talk about the things we love. Now we will move on to the second part of the show where we are going to try and play. Not even Marty McFly. He can't. Nostradamus here. Nostradamus. There you go. We're going to try and predict who is going to be on top of the main event, the mid card, and the women's division for WWE and for AEW. Tidy obviously was not taking part in the AEW one. Hopefully one day we can get him there. Hopefully one day we can make it happen. But for now, he won't. So he will have extra, as I said in the beginning, extra entrance for his WWE. Yes. So with that said, I think we're going to go AEW. We'll go back and forth between AEW and WWE. That way Tidy's not sitting there for too long with nothing to talk about. And we'll start with the mid-card. I think the mid-card is the best way to go here.
Fair enough.
And we will start with the AEW mid-card. And I want you to go first because I'm very interested to see what you had to say here. Who do you think is going to be the 5 staples for AEW's mid-card 5 years from now, going after whatever Diamond Ring, TNT title, whatever other title they got going on at the moment, Mid-Atlantic, whatever they got going on. Who is the 5 you see wrapping up that mid card?
Me?
Yeah, you. I'm the AEW guy. It's all on you right now.
Okay. I know we were picking 5 for each selection. I was thinking
I picked 5 for each selection.
Like B5 people.
If you ain't got it, I'll just go. You can go when we.
Well, no, I can go with it. Mid card in 5 years.
You want some time to think?
No, I would like to see Hook be in the upper card, but if he's mid card 5 years from now, but tapping on the door, okay, maybe we can go for that. Gosh, mid card for AEW. I think Swerve is going to eclipse that mid card, so let's take him out of there.
Ooh, thank goodness. Thank goodness. Thank goodness.
Gosh, I don't see Darby ever rising out of the mid card, so I'll put Darby in there with Hook, possibly. Eventually, I think they're going to break up the Acclaimed, and
interesting.
Yeah, I think they'll have to wind up having one of those guys in the mid card, and the other will just kind of fall off because they're great as a team, but I don't see them both being single stars.
If they break them up, who do you think is the better single star?
Oh gosh, I can't even recall it. It's the one that doesn't wear pants.
Anthony Bowens, not the
Bowens.
rapper.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mid card. Gosh, this is kind of tough because I don't want to see 5 years from now Hobbs or Starks still stuck in the mid card. I would like in 5 years, and I'm saying this strictly from a production point of view, if he still has the gas at this point, if Bryan Danielson is in that mid card to help elevate guys.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have a problem with him being there at that point. Being him taking that role in AEW, sort of like AJ Styles has in WWE, where he's not in the upper echelon, but he can, still.
He's there to just make things interesting for other people.
He can still put guys over. And the 5th that I'm going to throw into there, God, I'd probably go Garcia just because I see talent there, but I don't see him as a main eventer. So those will be my 5. Hook, Bowens, Bryan Danielson. Who did I just say? Garcia and who did I leave out there?
I don't know. You were talking about Hobbs and Starks. And
I had 5. Hobbs and Starks need to be main eventers by this time in 5 years.
Okay, so I'll just go ahead and give off mine. And here's what I'll say about it. I think most of these guys are pretty much mid-carders at the moment. And the only reason I have them listed here in 5 years from now is because I have not seen enough from them to think they could take that next step. I think they are all really good talents. And I will gladly let them prove me wrong because I think
Darby, that was the other one. Yeah.
Okay. Darby. Okay. I didn't include Darby on any of my lists because I think he's more of an attraction. I think that's how they're going to book him pretty much for his entire career. They're going to just book him as this crazy guy who comes in, gets the crowd to say, damn, and that's it. And he'll never really win anything significant, but he'll always have a very prominent role. I didn't include Hobbs on my list. A lot of these guys are older than I thought they were.
When I'm saying like TV title, Mid-Atlantic title, based on the belts they've got. Like I would put 2 of those belts on the 5 guys and some.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
I didn't include Hobbs though because again, age. He's older than I thought he was. He's not terribly old, but he's older than I thought he was. And I just don't know if I want him to be good. I think me always wanting to see Hobbs do this and that is because it's a want. I want him to be in these positions of success. I just don't know if he has it over these other guys I've listed. So I'll just list them real quick. I got Daniel Garcia, like you did, Dante Martin, Wheeler Yuta, who I hope can break out of that because I am big on Wheeler Yuta. He is very, I'm going to hurt you and you're going to take it. And I can't get behind. I can't get jiggy to that shit.
You can't get Uzi to that shit.
I had Lee Moriarty because I love Lee Moriarty, and I've started to see a little bit of charisma and character out of him. I want to see more before I put him into another level, but I do have very high hopes for Lee Moriarty. And then the fifth person is Jungle Boy, who is another person. Very high hopes for. I just haven't seen that thing that can make me say, yeah, world champion. I want to see it. I truly do. I haven't. And I had to include him on one of these lists. So there you go. Garcia, Martin, Yuta, Jungle Boy, and Lee Moriarty. And David here has Hook, Perry, Moriarty. Boom, we got Moriarty in there. Darby, Nick Wayne, bonus pick. Garcia he's not headline. And there you go. He picked.
Gotta hit the men's room. I'll be right back.
All right, Perry. Man, why am I? Who's Perry? Man, refresh my memory. Nick Wayne is a good one. I didn't even think about that one. And in case you don't know about Nick Wayne, Tidy. Nick Wayne is like 16 years old. he already had a contract.
I think Dave showed me a video of him fighting Ospreay, and then
Ospreay, yep, awesome. It was crazy. And like again, he's 16 years old and already has a contract, so he's going to be a big deal. Perry, I'm going to smack myself when I forget who the heck this Perry person is. So go ahead and let me know who you're talking about there, David. Come on, banners. Boom! Who'll be on top of AEW? Oh, Jungle Boy. Okay, Jungle Boy, Jack Perry. Okay, so there you go. We had a few of the same ones there. I'm glad you put in Lee Moriarty. Love Lee Moriarty. He was on Not Sam too. You should check his interview out with Tidy. It was really good.
Oh yeah, if he's on Not Sam, I'll check it out.
Yeah. It was right between I think the Nick Gage and Effie interviews that he did, which were also really good. So that's Not Sam. Of course, it's really good. So from there, we are going to swing it over to the mid card in WWE. And while he is gone, I'm sure he's going to want to hear what you got to say. So we're going to hold off for just a second on yours. I'll start mine.
Okay.
I know a lot of people are high on Montez Ford being a breakout star in WWE. I do think he will be a single star. I do not think it will be the main event like everyone else does, because when I look at his in-ring work, he's not as good as Dawkins. He has charisma, more charisma than anybody else in the world, but that's not going to get you the main event. I got Montez Ford as number 1 on my list for WWE mid-card guys. 2, I just dipped into NXT at this point because I see a lot of guys in NXT that I think can fill the spot. And there was a lot of guys I had to leave off that I'm really upset about, but it is what it is. Grayson Waller, number 2, because I think he's going to be the next Miz kind of character they have. I think when Miz is gone, Grayson Waller is just going to really just step into that role, and he is going to excel in it. He's so good at it. I was telling Tidy the time I went to see NXT, that dude was cutting a promo 10 minutes prior to the show. Show starts, and then he went on another like 6 or 7 minutes, and it was all just like great heel work. Julius Creed. I know the Creed brothers are a tag team, and everybody's high on him. Julius Creed is a guy who will be main event in WrestleMania before his career is over with. Bet on it. I put the life savings.
That's a bold statement, but I like that.
I think Julius Creed has it. Like, I don't know what it is, but he has it. He's much better than Brutus. Brutus isn't terrible, but I don't want them to be a tag team for too long because Julius Creed has.
First time I saw him, I was like, that it fact, whatever it is, he's got it.
And
it's
his
that
promo
Kurt
work,
Angle it factor. It's gonna work.
The promo work isn't there, but I've seen enough to say, okay, he can improve. He can improve.
I agree wholeheartedly with that.
He's making small steps.
He just made his return, I think, this past week. I didn't watch, so I don't know, but I did love him. He was one of the highlights of 2.0 the first few weeks I was watching it. I love Odyssey Jones, and I see Odyssey Jones being a big staple for WWE's mid-card scene 5 years from now. Hopefully he's okay and not getting injured, though. He has charisma. He has a likability about him, and he's a big man. I like seeing big men just destroy little people. And then the fifth one, Charlie Dempsey. I think that gets you. You go try and sneak it in. Think you're going to be the only one. Charlie Dempsey.
Just the tip.
He is going to be fantastic. I haven't seen enough of him, but I have seen enough of him to know he's going to be something. He might be something more. I don't know. But I've seen enough to say, yeah, I can see him being an Intercontinental Champion that like runs the show. So there you go. Montez, one WWE guy. The rest are all NXT. Grayson Waller, Julius Creed, Odyssey Jones, Charlie Dempsey, which means the NXT program is working if my predictions come to truth. But with that said, I will switch it over to you, Tidy. Who you got? 5 mid or 6? We're doing 6 for you?
Six.
Give us 6 mid-carders, Tidy, that you see in 5 years from now.
All right. I'm gonna say Joe Gacy. Even the last NXT promo with Ava Rain, Rock's daughter.
Good call. I wanted to do it, but I couldn't find a spot for him.
It was it gets hard when you have to do 5 or 6. So
yeah,
I got Joe Gacy, Nathan Frazier, Axiom, which is known as A Kid, because Nathan Frazier's Seth's protege. I'm gonna have Charlie Dempsey is on the list. You saw that. That dude phenomenal. I've been watching him since NXT UK. He is like, I don't know, Bob Backlund wrestling, hardcore, Timothy Thatcher wrestling, and
quick question.
Better.
Quick question for Captain. You know who Charlie Dempsey is, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just checking. I know you love William Regal, so I had to make sure you knew who he was.
And then I got Noam Dar from NXT UK. That dude's still young. He'll be around in 5 years, and he'll break out because he was already breaking out in UK. And then I don't know why, but I got Solo Sikoa down there, man. I don't have him in the main event. I don't have him in the main event, and that's because I had too many other main event guys to put on. But see, this thing with me, when I wrote this down, it was for one reason. It's because, in my opinion, if someone's really good at mid card, they can fill a main event spot. They definitely can, and I know Solo Sikoa can. So everybody I have there is someone that I think that can get to the main event status. Some people I have there is because I think they're not going to reach that next level, but they're needed. I need them.
Just to put it in perspective, names that I had and I had to take off, and I hated to do it. I'm glad you brought up Nathan Frazier because I completely forgot about him, and I'm glad you put an A Kid in there because
that dude's a beast.
He's a beast. But Cameron Grimes is a name I didn't have a place for.
Me too.
List, which I hate because I love Cameron Grimes. Who is the other one? Joe Gacy I had on my list because I think he does good enough character work to where he could just fill in somewhere. And Tony D'Angelo is a name I wanted to fit on here somewhere. I'm on the fence about his gimmick. I don't know if it's going to transition to the main roster, and I don't know if he has anything outside of that. So I fingers crossed for D'Angelo because I do like him, but we'll see. Before we go over to Captain, let's get David's out of the way. He got Montez Ford. I had Montez. He got Devlin, Frazier, Waller. I had Waller. Dom. He got Dominant Mysterio in there.
Shit.
Yeah, he's gonna be the top heel in the damn wrestling. I got Dom in the main event, man. No, I'm just joking. I don't have Dom.
He's gonna be the 2027 Eddie Guerrero.
And Von Wagner. Thank you for putting Von Wagner in there. That dude gets way too much hate. Way too much hate. All right, Captain, swing it over to you. I know you weren't prepared for the mid-carders, but I think it'll be easier to pull 5 mid-carders for WWE than it will be AEW.
Well,
do you have a list?
Well, I've got a list, but because 2024 is going to be a big contract year.
I did take this into consideration with my picks. I'll let you know. I didn't just stick with who's there. I did take the 2024 free agency into consideration.
So I've got 2 for sures that I want to see in the WWE mid card, at least in the next 5 years. Then I've got some possibles, depending on how things may swing here. I think for sure in 5 years, you want to see Dom and Braun Breaker at least headlining that mid card. Breaker could break through, he could not, but I think bare minimum you want to see Breaker and Dom being in there. I had a possibility if he doesn't make one echelon in another organization that he makes it in this one. That's Wardlow, because he's 36 and time is not on his side right now. Either AEW needs to push him there or he needs to make that switch and hit there in WWE. So I'll throw Wardlow in there if he makes that move. Again, Montez, I would put him in that WWE mid-card range. I really like Montez a lot. And then one more. WWE mid card. It's tough because WWE is very top. It's very top heavy or bottom heavy at the moment,
and they're currently working on that mid card, which
they are.
Yeah.
And we talked about him a lot tonight, but just because damn it, man. I mean, almost either he's got to at least make that high end mid card, or he can't just be almost as we know him forever. So I would like to see almost get that, what they did with Lashley in the U.S. title this year. Let's say if in 5 years almost has that belt and he has a run, I could, if he
gets better. Yeah.
There's a lot of ifs with this mid card. That's kind of the toughest one to put together.
Yeah, it is. It is.
But almost I would like to see him develop, if nothing else, that is like, I love me some Omos. I really do. It just kills me that it's taking so long for him to advance. But
I think what killed his progression is he started off by getting trained by Scott Hall and Kevin Nash, and then the pandemic happened and he lost that. So then what he was learning from them now is not being taught by him, and he's having to learn something completely new, and it stunted his growth. I truly believe this. Again,
I will agree with that.
Yeah, because
I see a lot of Kevin Nash in him.
He's not going to train Omos the same way WWE is going to train him. 100%.
Here's the thing, and this is why I love Kevin Nash. And I have before I ever came to Wrestle Buddy, I had a previous podcast, and my co-host always gave me tons of hell for this. I've always been one of the biggest Kevin Nash fans ever. Yes, I know he only has about 6 or 7 moves, but what he had that made up for it was great mic skills, exceptional timing for a guy of his size, and he knew how to work a match, how to slow it down, how to make it make sense.
Wrestle like a big man.
He took a very small toolbox and made it something that I always love to see. And I would like to see that. Are you milking the cow right now?
Yeah, that's what he was doing. He's milked that shit for all it was worth.
Yeah. And I see a lot of Kevin Nash and Omos.
Yeah.
And I would like to see those two once Kevin Nash is over this present grieving process, which I can't even imagine the hell it must be for that. But once this particular chapter in his life has run its course, for lack of a better phrase, I would like to see him get back to the Performance Center and work with someone like Omos, because Nash he is a smart dude and he knows how to work a big man match. And I would love to see him pass more of that on to Omos.
D'Angelo's gimmick has a bit of a low standard. Exactly. And that's why I couldn't put him on one of the list. I want to, because again, I think he has something. And I know some of these gimmicks that I don't think will work. Sometimes they just catch steam and they go, and it doesn't make sense to me, but they work sometimes. So maybe his will be one of those things. Maybe it won't. I don't know. Couldn't put him on a list, but I agree with you 100% there. And Omos makes OMG look like a dream. And with that, we're going to stick with WWE, so I don't have to keep changing the banners. And we're going to look at the 5 women who we think will be on top of the women's division for WWE in 5 years. So with that, Tidy, you're shaking your head, so now I'm very interested to see what you got to say. If you say Charlotte Flair, muted and booted, baby, don't even try me. But let's see what you got.
I'm not gonna do that, but since I have one extra, but whatever. But I was also writing this down because I believe in 5 years they'll actually have a mid-card title. They better. They better. But anyways, Bayley's still going to be around at that time. Bayley will be on top, main eventing. I think Raquel Rodriguez will get there as well to be a main eventer. Rhea Ripley will. Oh, because of her NXT run, I know she'll get the rest of the
Raquel had a nice NXT run. Yeah.
She's a great heel, and she's a good baby face, but she's a great heel. Tiffany Stratton. I know Dave has talked about, there's just she needs more training, but she's got all this stuff. But I love how she's doing her character. I love her wrestling. Dear God, it's like a super gymnast Charlotte Flair. Yeah. Like, she's so damn athletic.
I literally just tell people when they question me giving Tiffany any kind of praise, watch her first match, watch her last match, and tell me that woman has not grown like insane amounts in that little bit of time. It's crazy how quick she's taking to this.
Yeah, she's like Kurt Angle. She's picking it up like it's nothing. because I love Zelina's mic work and Zelina Vega, and then this one's hard. I'm gonna say Lacey Evans. I love her as a heel. I love Lacey Evans as a heel.
I gotta agree with you there on that one.
She's such an ass, dude.
Certain talents. It's my Roman Reigns argument. He works as nothing but a heel. Mandy Rose works as nothing but a heel. I love her in that role.
And that's my 5, but I had to add 6, and I think this would be later. That Blair Davenport. By then, in 5 years,
good shout. Good shout.
She's gonna catch steam, and within 5 years, she's gonna break my mid card idea and come out because she's just a badass. She's like Rhea Ripley right now, and in 5 years, she will be big.
That's a good shout. And just for some Charlotte love here, handsome boy Drew, this is actually the Drip Prince. So he comes in and says, "Hey, I know your favorite is Charlotte. She's okay, but Drew is way cute." He has this fascination. He thinks Drew is just the handsomest person on the planet, even more handsome than his own daddy.
He is ridiculously handsome. I'll give Drew that.
He likes Drew without the beard, though. Not with the beard. You got to be out without the beard. He thinks Drew is way handsomer without the beard. But he's giving you props on Charlotte, and he just wanted to let you know.
I don't see the Scottish without the beard for some reason.
No, you don't. You definitely don't. But
it's like without the beard, I don't picture him in a pub in Scotland with a glass of single malt and a stogie, just sitting back with his buddy Sheamus and having a chat.
He likes what he likes. I can't argue with him. It is what it is. But we got David. He's got his 5 women: Bianca, Roxy, Becky, Stratton, Ripley. He's got a few of them. Bailey, Io, Lyons, live in order of top to bottom.
I'm going to throw a lady in there that's going to blow your mind.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and give my 5. And, man, I listened to Tidy's list. I just saw David's list. Man, mine is completely different. The 4 horsewomen, as far as I'm concerned, are gone at this point. Becky's going to be off making damn Hollywood.
Bailey, Becky, Charlotte.
31. She'll still be around.
Should be how much old?
She's 31 right now, I think, or 32.
No, I think she's a little older. I think she'll be more of a part-timer in 5 years. That's my thing. I think Charlotte, Bailey, Becky, I think those 3 will all be part-timers.
I see Charlotte being a part-timer sooner than Becky because for no other reason.
Becky first, because Becky's a superstar waiting to happen.
She is, but Becky loves the business.
She does, but she also she sees what Cena's done. She sees what The Rock's done. And if she can be the first female to do that, she completely cements herself.
She completely could be.
Number 1 woman all time.
No arguments. Here's why I see it being Becky before Charlotte, or Becky staying and Charlotte going, because Charlotte got into wrestling accidentally. It wasn't her first choice, but by God, she found it and went with it. Becky is a wrestler first and foremost. So I could see Charlotte doing something.
Get that shit out of here.
I'm not dissing Charlotte at all. I love Charlotte Flair because I'm the biggest Ric Flair fan on the planet. But Charlotte is, I think, in her soul, is a wrestler second. Versus Becky, who is a wrestler first.
I think the only thing that'll keep Charlotte around longer is chasing a legacy. I think that's the only thing.
That's possible.
Yeah.
And we're spitting, we're throwing darts 5 years in the future.
35 and 36 is their ages. So, 5 years from now, they're both part-timers, 100%. Yeah. I have no doubt in my mind. But with that said, my 5 women. Tiffany Stratton, 100%, because I think she is going to be pretty much on top of the division at that
Totally
point.
Agree.
I have that much high hopes for her.
Well, partially. I would see her being a 2 or a 3, but go ahead.
I see her being, when I say top, there's always a 1A and 1B. There should always be a 1A, 1B. That's how you have.
Fair enough.
I think she's one of the 1A, 1B, however you want to look at it. 1B, Rhea Ripley. Hands down. She's like 24, I think. She has a lot of time.
Rhea Ripley, not to interrupt, like where I see Becky as being the best one since Moolah, I think Rhea is eventually going to top Becky in the future.
I can't go that far. I can't bring myself to do it. But I will say the Judgment Day stuff and the stuff she's doing with Dom, I think helps her in the long run because it gives her character and allows her to work on something that she wasn't that good at to begin with. Her ring work was great.
Like,
I have no problems with her ring work.
Exactly.
But doing character stuff now,
I see Rhea in 5 years or 10 years, like her eventually eclipsing Becky.
No.
And I love me some Becky, but Rhea's that good.
And this is why I picked these two as 1A, 1B, because Tiffany Stratton, the gymnast who's going to use her finesse and athleticism to get the best of Rhea, and Rhea's going to use her brute strength and size to just outmatch the athleticism. And
those two are going to be headlining WrestleMania, and it ain't going to be too damn long.
And I think that's a great just 1-2 punch to have on top of your women's division. Then next up, no surprises here, I don't think should be, is Roxanne and Cora Jade. I know a lot of people aren't hiring Cora Jade for whatever reason. She's very, very young. She has a lot to learn. She could, in 5 years, she's still going to be very, very young. So,
which is great.
Yeah,
Thank God.
Exactly. I think her character work as a heel is really making her a heel is the same thing that's done for Dominic. It's made her more comfortable and made her more interesting, and I think that's going to buy her some time. And then to top it off, Gigi Dolan. As soon as she gets away from this tag team stuff, Gigi Dolan is a star in the making. 100%. I stand by that. I know that's a shocking one to some, but whatever, it is what it is. Those are my 5. Tiffany, Rhea, Roxanne, Cora Jade, and Gigi Dolan. Done with the 4 horsewomen. Done with them. They're gone. They're living their lives. We're moving on. Sasha Banks will still be around too because she's still relatively young, but she ain't gonna be in the main event scene.
And Bayley will.
She go wrestle Stardom or something.
So is it my turn with the women?
It is your turn with the women.
Okay, I'm taking what you said, Jimmy, but I'm flipping that. I'm putting Rhea 1A and then Stratton as the 1B.
Yeah, it can't be wrong though.
I've also got to put number 2, Mandy Rose. I really like me some Mandy Rose. Number 4, I think Bianca is going to hang around in some role, maybe. This is it's a coin toss because she's got the Hulu series coming up. She may go on.
I see her being gone because she's like
she very well could be.
She's 32 or 33. She's not young at all. Sasha is younger than Bianca.
Yeah, she could very well be gone, but she's so, as much as Bianca, baby, I love you. As much as I hate your gimmick, you never disappoint me in the ring. So just never lose that. And I'm going to throw a number 5 in there.
Here it goes.
Because I think she's going to make the jump. I think Britt Baker is going to wind up being in the WWE whenever her contract is up, because she has done everything she can possibly do in AEW. And no performer in this business of her ilk wants to not have a WWE run, at least on her resume. So I think if someone in the chat whenever Britt's contract is up,
she re-signed earlier this year.
She re-signed earlier this year? How long?
I couldn't tell you. I just know she did re-sign earlier this year.
I think Britt makes a WWE run at some point, and I think it'll be Cody-esque in that when she debuts, everyone's going to know who she is, and she will be over like Rover really quick, and she will have a good 1-2 year run.
Interesting.
But that's just she's not my Latino lollipop, Thunder Rosa. But she is.
Yeah.
But Britt,
I'll say that.
I think Britt's gonna have to have a WWE run to cement her career, and I think she could easily have a good run there. So those are my ladies.
Okay, I don't see Britt coming to WWE just because she's very high on her dentistry stuff, and I don't think it works with WWE. But hey, prove me wrong, because I love me some Britt Baker too. If I could get a Becky Lynch, Britt Baker promo battle program feud, whatever, give it to me. That's my dream feud for the women's divisions right now is Becky versus Britt, because they're so similar and that they're not great in the ring, but everything else they do is just perfection. But with that, we will now go over to AEW, where you just poached Britt Baker from. Who are the 5 women you see being on top in AEW?
Well, again, we're dealing with some ifs. Because I said, Wardlow could be an if.
Yeah, no, do the ifs.
With ladies, let's say Britt stays. I think Britt Baker, if she stays, will always be on top of that division. Thunder Rosa is going to be there. I don't see her making the WWE jump, but I see Thunder Rosa being there, and I could be a little bit biased there. And again, another one, Toni Storm could make a jump, but Toni Storm's having a really good run right now, and I'm enjoying her matches.
She's
and
young too.
Whenever I called the pay-per-view in September with Maddie, and we watched the women's match, I was telling him, like, of all these women, Toni Storm looks like she wants it the most, and that it bore out on TV.
She's excellent.
And I'm going to do another potential flip here. If WWE misuses an NXT talent and doesn't utilize them properly, I could see Mandy Rose going to AEW and doing something there. If for some reason, because we saw what happened with Swerve, they missed the boat on that, on a great talent, it can happen. So I'm going to throw Mandy in there. And then lastly, I'm going to put oh God, I honestly don't have a fifth for AEW's women's division because it's so shallow right now.
It was hard to find some.
Britt, Thunder, Toni, and possibly Mandy.
Okay, because there was a few that I was gonna do that I don't even know if they've been signed, but at the end I was able to find 5 that I like and can go with.
Okay.
I didn't put Jade on either one of these lists. I do think she jumps to WWE, but I don't think Jade Cargill.
She's jumping.
I don't see Jade Cargill staying in wrestling very long. I think the moment she has a chance to go on to greener pastures and a much easier way to make money, I think she does it. That's my thing on it. I might be wrong, but we'll see. David, before I get to mine, he has Jade Cargill, Jamie Hayter, Sky Blue, Toni Storm, and Willow and Britt. Sky Blue is one that I almost put on my list. She's like right there on the edge of mine. But with that,
on Jade, just to you mentioned you see her making the jump, like TVs, movies, or something. I mean,
TVs and movies, 100%. Look at her. She is a mega star if she can put everything together.
I think she would need a WWE run to hit
for sure. Which is why I see her jumping to WWE and then jumping to mega.
Okay. Fair enough.
She's gonna go to WWE to get the opportunities, and then hey, we want to put you in a movie. She's gonna be like, see you later. 100%. That's what I see her doing.
Fair enough. I like that.
I almost put Anna Jay on here as well, which I know doesn't seem well because she's not that good, but she's very, very young and she's not had a lot of experience. So with the little bit of experience she's had, she's shown me that there's a possibility she could be something. Didn't make the list though. Tay Mello is the first one that makes my list because I like her. I think she has a different style than most, and I like different. I always like different. I'm always going to point to different. And again, she's relatively young. Jamie Hayter, I think, will be at the top of this division because Jamie Hayter is a flat-out beast. Chris Statlander, who I didn't realize was this young, but I think she's 26. So yeah, she could be around. And if she was already almost at the top of the division before she got injured, 5 years from now, comes back from injury, I think Chris Statlander is there. Toni Storm, because she is so young. And Willow Nightingale, as David pointed out, because I like Willow.
And also because Toni Storm is so
hot. I guess. And almost made mine. Look at me and Dave are agreeing on way too many things tonight. It's very, very scary, and I don't like it. I'm gonna have nightmares tonight. Calling out my AEW women's. At first it was hard, but then I started going through them. I was like, okay, no, this is actually 5 women that I actually can see.
That's the biggest question mark. That was the toughest one for me. There's
the toughest one for me was the WWE mid card because there was just so many names I had to leave off. Injury history. See, I don't know anything about her injury history. I just know she has that one injury now, but I know that when she can go, she can go. She's really good. So that's why I kept her there. But with that said, we're going to move into the AEW main event scene.
Oh boy.
So first, I think we both have one of the same people at the top. No, I don't think we do actually. I think he went a different way here. But
I'll go ahead
and say it now. Nope. MJF will be your top guy in AEW 5 years from now. I come to the conclusion he's not leaving in 2024. He's going to stick around for one more contract before he goes to WWE. And even then, he might not go. I think the idea of putting AEW on a different level is something that is just way too intriguing for him, and he has to do it. He's going to stick around and try and get them to that next level. What up? Thank you for joining us. Dave says hello.
Hey, Courtney.
Everybody says hello. Next up after MJF, Chris Jericho. Now, I'm just joking. I had to do that. You know he's going to try it. No, I don't see Chris Jericho being at the top, bro. I'm just joking.
Oh, God.
Jimmy, I love you. I respect you. You're a sharp mind. But that's twice tonight where I'm thinking you and Tony Khan are testing substances together.
Chris Jericho will be a great coach by that time, though.
He will be a great coach. He could be a great coach now.
And next up on the list is a guy we both agreed on last week during the Book It Bay. I got Swerve Strickland as the number 2 heel or number 2 main event guy. Just the sky's the limit for the dude. He's so damn good. Next up, I hate to put him on here, but his age, how good he is, and the fact that he's a staple for AEW, I got to put Hangman Page in there. I didn't like doing it.
This was the toughest one for me out of all of these.
My pettiness almost left him out. I'm not going to lie. But I'm trying to be legit here. Hangman Page is the number 3 guy I got here. Number 4, Adam Cole, baby, because if he comes back from injury, which I'm hoping he does, the photo he released the other day in that Mickey Mouse tank top lets me know dude's getting toned again. He's getting back to NXT shape. He's going to start wrecking fools.
You ever seen what happens when whole kernels of corn go through a grist mill? That's Adam Cole lately. Not his fault, but that's Adam Cole.
No.
And I don't know if you're going to see
Adam
him.
Cole will be a main eventer, dude. As long as he's okay, which, again, I think he is. I think he's perfectly fine. They're just waiting to see how they're going to bring him back. He will be.
I hope so. I love me some Adam Cole. I just at this point it's like, what's left of this man's anatomy?
This is not the first injury I've ever seen him have. Like people say, like he always gets injured. I don't remember.
Yeah, but he's had like so many ones just on top of each other, and they have beat him into powder.
But that same thing out with Kenny. Now Kenny's fine. You just give him time off, let him heal. That's it. But I'm looking back at Adam Cole's, and maybe David can. He's the Jim.
Please
Cornette
don't mention his name in my presence.
I did not mean Jim Cornette in a bad way, David. Please don't take it that way. You know a lot about the history of these things. I don't think Adam Cole has ever had a significant injury up until now. He's not an injury-prone guy that people keep saying he is. I don't get that. But I digress. He's number 4. The 5th name here is going to surprise you. No, he won't. I'll touch on that in a second. Hook. And I'm putting Hook here because, as you pointed out last week, I see something different from this dude every time I see him. He seems to have his thing figured out. And his thing has people interested. Like
you put him higher than me. I'm kind of. I applaud that. I don't see Tony giving him the rub, but if he does make main event status,
yeah,
God bless you.
I think Hook has so much potential, and I like that they're slowly bringing him in, so you don't get to see his weaknesses. That way, he gets to work on them before we get to do it. So I like the way they're doing it. He goes Hangman, Starks, Hobbs, Swerve, Cole, Omega, Ethan Page. So my thing here, I talked about Hobbs, why I didn't have him. Omega, I think, will be at that point just not really a full-time guy. Ethan Page was a tough one to leave out. I didn't want to because I'm big on Ethan, but I had to leave it at 5, so he didn't make it. He won't have the title Ring of Honor. Wait, is that the Ring of Honor pay-per-view? Because if that's the case, then maybe you're right. I don't know. Refresh my memory. But I know
Gear is 2 weeks from now.
It's not December 10th.
No.
Okay, so that's the Ring of Honor pay-per-view. So maybe Adam Cole will be Ring of Honor champion that night. I think so, but I thought that's what that was. So that's our list. Oh, no, you didn't go yet. AEW, top 5, main event.
Okay.
I want to hear them because I know you don't got MJF on there, so I'm curious who's taking that role.
Well, again, I'm making the adjustment for it.
I know where you got MJF. I'm not.
MJF will be my number 1 if he stays, but I'm also countering in the fact he could go. So let's put MJF in there. As much as I hate and despise this little prick, he's got some skills, and I think if he just matures a little bit, he could be something, and that's Sammy Guevara. He could be a great heel. I think he's been a completely immature asshole, for lack of a better phrase. But Sammy Guevara could be that next guy in there. Moxley could still be hanging around in 5 years, maybe. That's a big maybe. Then next I've got Hobbs and Starks as my 4A, 4B. And then my substitute in the event MJF does make the jump, my number 1 is Swerve.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So if MJF is there, Swerve is 2. But if MJF goes, then Swerve jumps to number 1.
Okay. So with that,
I'm inundated with canine right now.
That's not bad. That's not.
I think I'm her emotional support human.
All right, so now we're gonna switch over to WWE. Tidy, I hope you're ready. 5 or no, you have 6.
Yeah.
Bastard. Who are your 6 people that you see riding the top of the WWE main event scene?
Courtney, her name is Maggie, and she is a 70-pound American female boxer who thinks she's a chihuahua. And if she takes one more step, she's going to be standing right on my groin, in which case you will see her leave this chair fairly quickly.
All right. I think main event will be Gunther. He's still going to be around. Gunther's still going to be a main eventer. Jordan Devlin, I know I hear talk of just mid-card. I think he's going to break the mid-card within 5 years, and he's going to be a top dude. Yes. I love the hair. Grayson Waller. I'll put Grayson up there.
He's man.
Going to be a top super heel, and he's going to break the mid-card within a year as soon as everybody catches how good that guy is. Did you see his last NXT? Dear God, that man could talk.
He's phenomenal on the mic.
Carmelo Hayes, he'll be there, and I want him with Trick. I'm sorry. Trick needs to be his sidekick.
Trick needs to be with Melo to the end of time.
Dude, they are so good together, man. And then you got Austin Theory. He's going to still be there. Austin Theory is amazing. I think he could do good guy, bad guy. He can be funny, so he'll still be around. And then my other thing is, I want Seth to still be around because I've seen people wrestle into their 40s, and I don't care, man. But I can't put Seth because he'll be gone by then. Tyler Bates is going to figure something out. That boy's like 24. Tyler Bates will figure out his character.
Young. Yeah.
He will figure it out by then.
Tidy, I want to throw something to you because I've been thinking about this for a good little while now, and I've drawn a big blank as far as Carmelo and Trick. Can you think of another combination, like wrestler-manager combination, that you can't picture one without the other in the history of the business? And it's, as much as I love Carmelo, I can't picture him without Trick.
I can't think of like anybody else off the top of my head right now, but I can tell you why they're so good. I mean, their interactions, they do the barbershop thing, whether they're going out in the town and they're in the jacuzzi with girls, they're just so damn charismatic. Where they're in the locker room,
I think like together. Roman and Heyman or Brock and Heyman,
Paul and Nash.
Even when they talk in the middle of
Yep,
there you go.
But
you'd always
because we saw them without each other, but they are significantly better with each other.
They're so good.
I'm going to really have to dig deep into like the archives, like going to like the 50s and 60s and try to find a combination where like you don't have one without the other wrestler manager situation.
Well, Trick's not really a manager. He actually wrestles too. It would make you think because Trick has a good mouthpiece to him. And that dude's really good. But
you think about like Bobby Heenan whenever he was in the AWA managing the Blackjacks. And I
like Trick's wrestling.
Yeah, well, think about back to the AWA in the late 70s, early 80s, when Bobby Heenan was still an active wrestler, but he was also managing the Blackjacks. And that's the closest I've been able to come to the situation because you couldn't picture one without the other, but Heenan still actively competed once in a while.
Piper Orton is what David says. But that's
okay.
That's
maybe.
List, Tidy. You said you go sneak Seth in that list.
I'm trying to, man. But
if Seth wrestles until he's 44, please give me that. Or no, he'll be 42.
because Bobby's doing it. Other people were wrestling. AJ Styles Styles can fill the main event scene today.
I'm giving you shit, man. You know that. I love Seth.
Okay, cool.
All right, so David doing the tidy thing. He doing way too many. Theory, Solo, Dragunov, Cody, Gunther, Seth, Carmelo Hayes, and Braun. That's not a bad main event. So I will go next, and I will go ahead and say two names that I wanted to put on here, and I just couldn't. I kept names like Seth off because I feel like if they're still around, obviously they're there. That was my whole reason for not including them. The one I did want to give a shout out to was Cody because technically he didn't reach that yet. But I do see in 5 years, if he's still around and doing his thing, which I fully think he will be, he'll probably be in the main event scene. And I wanted to include Solo, but I've gotten such a small sample of him, I don't want to give him that.
Yeah, that's why my mid.
Here you go. Nick says Randy Savage and Miss Elizabeth. Boom. There you go. That's a good one.
Oh, that's good.
Okay. So for my main event, obviously.
Miss Elizabeth wasn't a performer, though.
But still, yeah.
She wasn't an in-ringer like Heenan was when he was still with the Blackjacks.
Doesn't matter. They're inseparable. They're inseparable. He made a good point.
The guy I got heading off my entire WWE main event is none other than. No, I'm just joking. It's Austin Theory. This is a no-brainer. If you know Jimmy, if you know the Drip King, and you didn't think I was about to say Austin Theory, shame on you. I think he's the dude right now. But 5 years from now, he definitely will be.
If he ain't the dude 5 years from now, then I don't know what the hell would have happened.
Wrong. Something is going horribly wrong.
Yeah.
Number 2, Braun Breaker. I do think he'll just be there. I think they're grooming him way too much. And he does have the intensity to do it. So I see Braun Breaker being there. Carmelo Hayes with Trick Williams because you can't go where Carmelo can't go here without Trick, and Trick can't go there without Carmelo. They're two peas in a pod, and they got to keep that pod together. Next up, Gunther. I think Gunther will be he will be the mega heel that just has WWE in a threshold when he has that title. He will be that guy in 5 easily. He'll probably be that guy in 2 years if we're being honest.
Yeah. Next year.
I have my one and only jump. I have Wardlow in the main event for WWE in 5 years because his size is the kind of stuff WWE looks at.
He's going to be 40.
That's fine. Bobby Lashley, 44.
Bobby's a mid Carter, not a.
No, I don't think so. And also, Wardlow, how many miles does he have on him? He don't have much mileage on him. So at 41, it's not out of the question to think that he'll be on top of WWE.
Okay, I'll allow it.
I'll be saying this. I think Captain's really big. Like, this is like the third time this come up. Someone's like, 40, oh, no, get rid of him. But, man, there's like 3 guys in 40s that are doing a good job right now. And I know you like them.
It can be done. It's just okay.
The schedules are not what they used to be, and these bodies are not going through what they used to do. And
they're not. But let's.
I don't even know what
two factors I'm going to throw at you. Well, actually 3, because I want you to answer Miss Courtney's question. But the other 2 factors, a human being, man, athlete, regardless of sport, the body starts to break down at around 35. Give or take a few years, give or take.
Can I answer this one already? I got 4 letters for you that'll answer this one. DDPY.
No, you're not wrong. That's why there are exceptions to the rule.
Fuck right now.
There are exceptions to the rule. You can DDP got into the business late. You can be beyond 35, and if you really take care of yourself, it can. It's not a iffer. It's not a.
And we're seeing it now more than we were back in the day. Yes.
Yes.
100%.
But 35 traditionally, regardless of sport, is that age where, as you go, if you get hurt, it's tougher to recover. It's tougher to. Yeah. It's just that's sort of that milestone age. It's 35 where things start to kind of go wacky. And the second point that I was going to make there, let's just say Wardlow does make that jump whenever his contract is up. Again, I'm not sure when his deal is up, but WWE is going and I like this. They're going away from the big guy. No, we've shown Wardlow has shown that he can work. He can bounce. But I do worry about
Swanton is fucking marvelous.
I am the biggest Wardlow champion there is. I wonder in 5 years if he's going to be main event. That's why I put him mid card as opposed to.
I don't think he could ever reach it in AEW. I just don't. I think
not in AEW.
AEW wrestles
because that'll upset Kenny.
Work. In WWE, they would push that kind of man to the moon, 100%. He has low mileage. The bodies. I get what you're saying with the bodies, but the schedules are lighter. People are taking care of their bodies significantly better these days. Yeah, these days. There you go. And I think 41 is like the new, 34 in wrestling. I truly believe that because you're seeing guys go into their mid 40s. Chris Jericho is still wrestling at a pretty damn good rate, and he's 50.
AJ Styles.
Judgment
Day match.
You guys are not wrong.
God, when he hits,
that's what I look at, and I'm always going to be the optimist and not the skeptic, and that's why I have Wardlow there. Another name.
What I'm planning ahead, I cannot see the future. I'm looking at the numbers, and I'm saying, okay, in 5 years, I'm going to trust a guy who's 30 now versus a guy who's 34, 35 right now.
No, you're right. You're right, Captain. I mean, like if I'm really seriously taking this, like this is who I would bet on, definitely. But yeah. I have dreams. Seth Rollins can still be around, and he said he's gonna evolve his character, and it's still evolving to this day.
Yeah.
And when
Savage wrestled into his early 40s, and he was still putting on great. Exactly. As Matty the Quizmaster said, Seth is the Randy Savage of our era.
It's not.
And if Seth is still putting on matches in his early 40s as he's doing in his late 30s, I will not be shocked because Seth is just that good. Okay. We haven't seen a worker like him since Savage.
Okay. So let's get these. Question for Jimmy: will Austin Theory cash in? Do you think will be successful over the next 5 years? That man's gonna cash in at WrestleMania. That's my next go-to right there. That's what I'll say. WrestleMania. I wish it was yesterday, but it gonna take 5 years.
With his ego, he's gonna save it for the big show because that's his character. He's gonna do it.
That's when we're getting the Paul Heyman turn. But if that man holds that thing until the very last day, like people are saying he's gonna do, I'm gonna be so mad because that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life.
That is kind of dumb.
Silly idea. And yeah, I think it was Nick that.
He's got until July when he won Money in the Bank?
I think so.
Because it was Vince's last pay-per-view. Yeah, I say was when he got it. So he's got until July of next year.
Dragunov boosted the next team, give him some more time. I don't like that idea either. I think it just makes him look small.
It makes him go backwards.
Yeah,
I mean, Johnny Gargano got called up, and now you're going to make him go back to NXT to cash in? No.
But he had multiple things to get fixed. Yeah, absolutely. And yeah. And it would likely turn Phil. Yeah, Phil ain't going to New Japan. Whoever said Phil's going to New Japan is crazy. I'm not even going to listen to that person's opinions on anything.
Phil Brooks ain't going to New Japan.
Okay, so there you go. That's my list. Austin Theory, Breaker, Carmelo Hayes, Gunther, and Wardlow. I did want to say I think Cody and Solo will be part of that with them, but those are my 5 that I think will be the 5 that aren't there that I guess that aren't there now that I think will be there. I wanted to get those in there because I definitely see Seth being around still, and as long as Seth's there, he's the main event guy. Who else? There's not that many. Yeah, there's not that many I see sticking around that much longer. So I'll leave it at that.
Okay, so top 5 for WWE.
I'm not bringing in Dragunov because I just don't know. It's nothing against Dragunov at all. I just don't know where he's going. I don't know where he's going to find himself on the main roster.
I thought he was older, so I didn't even put that on there. I put Captain on that one.
I think he's under 30, but even with that.
Under 30?
I think so. I could be wrong.
I think he's a little past 30, a little bit. I
have not seen enough for him to say, like, for sure, I think he could be here. I think he could be here. I'm not impressed with his stuff out of the ring. His in-ring is beautiful, 100%, yes. But, like, promo, character, I just don't know where he's going to fit in. And that's why I left him off. It's not a knock on him. Not a knock on him at all. I just don't know where I fit him in. But go ahead, Captain.
Okay, so should he make the jump, MJF is going to be my number one in 5 years for WWE. But if he doesn't, I'm gonna side with you, Jimmy, and say that Theory is going to be that guy. I'm reserving.
Imagine having both of those at the top of the division.
Oh, please give me both of those guys.
Oh my God.
But if MJF does not make that jump, I'm going to say Theory.
There you go, Dragunov 29.
Oh, he
Number
definitely
3.
my mid card.
I'm going to say Carmelo Hayes because I have yet to see a thing from him that I do not like. 4, Cody Rhodes. He's going to be 41, 42, somewhere
41.
in there.
Yeah.
But Cody,
I didn't.
As I made them argue with Nick, I think Dustin Rhodes got the worker. Cody got Dusty's brain. That's where I see those two brothers right now. Dustin's the better worker. Cody's got it up here. So I'm going to have Cody number 4. And then my number 5, I was kind of torn on this because I love me some Seth Rollins, but Rollins is going to be, I think Rollins may slide into that AJ Styles role where he's just the great dependable worker that can do anything whenever it needs to be done. But there's another cat that's got a few more years left that I think, based on the present trajectory, could be in the main event scene. And his name is very oozy Sami Zayn.
I thought he was also getting way older too.
He's only 33, I think. 33.
Sammy is not 33, bro. I think Sammy's like.
He's like 37.
He's younger than that. I looked at.
Well, he looks young.
He's 38.
Yes,
bro.
He's very oozy.
Sammy's 38.
Yeah, he's 38.
He's very oozy, young looking.
Sami Zayn will be a manager by that time.
Yeah.
Okay, so if Sammy's unavailable, let's throw Roman in there as a part timer. But damn it, I thought Sammy was young. I thought he was only 34. I might have got my numbers crossed there.
So, yeah, because Sammy would have been number 1 on mine if that was the case. But yeah, 38. And he talked about on Broken Skulls that he hopes to be like a Bobby Heenan kind of guy after his career is done. He wants to stick around. He wants to be a manager. He wants to do comedy. He wants to do all that stuff. And
can you imagine Sami Zayn as the lead Paul Heyman guy or the lead announcer on any of the brands?
Sami Zayn as Wardlow's manager. That's how I put Wardlow in the main event. I just booked it for you. There you go. That's what I want to see.
Well, there you go.
There you go.
I would have zero problems with that, with Sami being I guess I hadn't thought, because I thought Sami was younger than that.
Yeah, and as David points out, he has some miles on him. He killed his body on the Indies. The stuff him and Kevin Steen, rephrase that, the stuff El Generico and Kevin Steen were doing on the Indies, Ring of Honor, all that was knucking futs, man. You shouldn't be doing that to your body, which is why I do want to see them have one of those kind of matches in WWE, because I think it would be really fucking cool.
Does Sammy get a run with the belt before he retires?
Yes. Elimination Chamber. I've said this is happening. I put it into the universe and it's happening. And if it doesn't fucking happen, I got an article coming out tomorrow, everybody, for Wrestle Buddy. It's about Sami Zayn and why he should be the one to dethrone Roman Reigns. So
yeah.
All right, Tidy. Who are your guys, Tidy?
What? Who's gonna for what?
No. Your five top of WWE.
I already did mine.
Refresh his memory real quick.
Okay. It was Jordan Devlin, Gunther, Carmelo Hayes, Whip Trick, Grayson Waller, Austin Theory, and Tyler Bates is gonna find his character.
He's got old helmet head. He got to put old helmet head in there.
Dude, he's got great character work, man. Y'all got to put that.
Okay.
I'm just toying with you. Jordan Devlin was pretty good. What's this? Got comment? What's his comment? I'm 50-58 on if they pull the Sammy trigger. I'll say this. Not even a week after they made the Elimination Chamber in Montreal, Triple H is out there saying, I have an idea of who I'm going to take the title off of Roman for. You tell me. You tell me. Yeah. I don't believe in coincidences. This shit's on purpose.
You guys remember the pop that Mick Foley got when he won the belt off Rock on Monday Night Raw, January 4th, 1999?
It will be bigger.
That pop, if Sammy wins the belt in Montreal, will eclipse what Foley did January 4th of 99.
As I said at the end of my article, I think the pop he would get in Montreal rivals any of the largest pops we've ever had in the history of the business. I stand by that.
I think
I agree. As over as he is,
fucking monumental.
What I want to say about that is that Triple H said putting yourself in the actual fan seat and being able to take a step back and actually think about what the crowd really wants. He tries really hard to do that. You know, Jimmy knows, everybody knows, people in Saudi Arabia want Sammy. So, I mean, the story's been there since how many months ago? If you're really watching what the crowd wants and you're seeing how Sammy is doing so good, like I said, you have them turn on him, make him a super baby face. And we're gonna lose.
Remember, Survivor Series '98. Survivor Series '98
in wrestling.
Tidy. Survivor Series '98. Mankind was the hand-picked guy for Vince, and then Vince turned on him, and it was 2 months later when Mick beat Rock on Raw for the world title. It could be a swerve like that. Triple H understands this so well. If you somehow It would be that Mick Foley level pop for Sammy to get that belt in Montreal.
I'm going to go one step further here. I'm going to book the end of the Elimination Chamber for you real quick on the Sammy winning the title and how you get to WrestleMania from there. And it's fucking brilliant and it's perfect. And they've done it before, but it will work. And then we'll cut off the show. We'll say our goodbyes. Sami Zayn, you're going to have Kevin Owens cheering this man on the entire way. Sami Zayn beats Roman Reigns at the Elimination Chamber. 1, 2, 3 is the final two contestants. The pop, the roof is flying off this fucking place because it's going to be insane. Anybody that's questioning it, go back and watch when they were in SmackDown just a few months ago. Sammy was ridiculous. So that man wins his first world title in Montreal at the Elimination Chamber by beating Roman freaking Reigns. It's going to be insane. Kevin Owens comes in to congratulate him, and then Kevin Owens beats the holy piss out of Sami Zayn. The fans go fucking nuts on Kevin Owens, and then we get my Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens main event at WrestleMania Night 1 that I put into the universe earlier this year with my article. If this happens, I expect thank you from every single person in the IWC for putting this into the universe.
Jimmy, I know you do not. Jimmy, I know you do not drink, but if we can somehow meet up at the Rumble, I would happily buy you a round if that happens when I go to the Rumble the year after when I owe you that drink. Because if I get KO and Sammy, you know how I feel about KO. I think his gimmick and his mic work is the shits, but I love his in-ring work.
Muted and booted.
Him and Sammy
What
together.
did he say?
I think Kevin Owens is the shits. But here's another thing I'm adding.
His mic and gimmick, not his in-ring. His in-ring is superb.
I'm making it a Hell in a Cell match because these dudes have literally put themselves through hell every other way. If we're talking about a Hell in a Cell, a match, a rivalry that deserves a Hell in a Cell, it's Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens, and it would be fucking
give me that.
Amazing.
Those two will put on a phenomenal show.
We went long tonight. That's okay because we had a good time, and it was the return of Tidy. It might have been a week late, but he might have only been gone a week, but that week we missed him, so we had to get some time back with him. So with that said, plug away, Captain. I feel like you got something to say. Don't even dare bring up my
brain. Next Saturday, the Captain's Table returns. We're going to be taking a look at Fall Brawl 19 and 90, 19 and 93. With William Regal and Ricky Steamboat for the television title and Ric Flair and Rick Rude for the world heavyweight title. It's going to be a fun one. The day after that, it's me and Chinwag Dan back for Who Booked This Shit. We're going to be covering SummerSlam 1993, one of the worst pay-per-views in history. And in less than 24 hours, it will be the Captain versus El Enema Bag Americano superhero, whatever the hell they're lining up for me. I'm getting Knight Ridered is what I feel is going to happen.
I don't even know what that means.
Because you do not study booking.
I do understand booking, baby.
Do you?
Tidy, what you got?
Oh, no. I was going to say the women's mid-card. I'm just going to say four names anyway. Isla Dawn, Indy Hartwell, Kiana James, Io Sky. and Dakota Kai. They'll be part of the mid-card. There'll be a mid-card title in 5 years for the women, finally.
There will be.
I'm not mad at
saying. And it may happen next year. They'll announce it as my Christmas present. It'll happen.
And with that, I will say thank you guys for joining me. We will be back next week with another episode. I don't know what it's about. I'll figure it out. And when I figure it out, I'll let them know, and then maybe I'll let y'all know. You might just have to tune in to figure out what it is. So with that, I would say toodles, laters, goodbyes, and all that. And my good friend El Americano Nightmare will see you tomorrow at the Buddy Wars as he wins me my title. Goodbye.
Bye, Dave. Bye, Courtney.